Hi people, welcome back. I almost didn't do this video today because if you can listen carefully, hear the sound of rain. Rain is going to be with us for a little bit, so we just gotta work with it, work around it. Okay, so this week people, especially this week, I had a challenge with this popular saying, where there's a will, there's a way. Now, I am not saying that I was quick to say that this statement is a myth or that it is not an important ingredient. Will or willpower is not an important ingredient for success. But from ever since I've been a child, growing up, I've always questioned any statement I hear. I don't just accept them as they are. I usually look at things on a whole, and I try to look on every side of it before I finally accept anything at all. So of course I was going through this statement in my mind, and I decided to explore some questions. Let me put it this way. I decided to explore some questions coming up for me from this statement, and one of them is, if there's no willpower, is there no way I can be successful at anything or in some things? And on the flip side, is it true that every time you have willpower, there is a way to success? So the two questions are, if there's no willpower, will I not have success? And when I do have willpower, is there always a way to success? But wait. What is willpower? According to most psychological scientists, willpower can be defined as the ability to delay gratification, resisting short-term temptations in order to meet long-term goals. And it also is the capacity to override an unwanted thought, feeling, or impulse. Because of the lack of willpower to do certain things lately, I have been questioning my ability to be a leader, to influence others, to have success. And I'm wondering if something is wrong with me. Doesn't all leaders, are at least 90%, 95% of the time, have their willpower to do things and to lead others? Something wrong with me because I'm not feeling the strength and the drive to go and do certain things. What about some people like me who are on the fluffy side of slim, who really need to lose some weight, but you're going through a very stressful time and somebody's dangling some chocolate or some ice cream or something nice in front of you, and you know that just a little taste of it can bring down your stress level just a little bit? Do you always resist? No, thanks to the author of a book called The One Thing. I'm not remembering now who is the author, but the name of the book is The One Thing. It's a good read. He was able to clarify some of the thoughts that were in my head, and I'm going to share some of what he said with you. The first thing is that willpower is incredible and it is important to success, but it has no endurance. People, it has no loyalty, none whatsoever. The second thing is that willpower is not at your beck and call. You can't just call it forth as you please. You can't just, it's not there somewhere waiting for you to just come and take it up, and when you finish with it, you can put it back. People, suppose you see me sometimes trying to, especially if persons around me, I'm having that drive, and I'm wondering what is wrong with me. Sometimes you want to see me like I want to chant it, come to me. I try to meditate it into my life. I try to pray it up, but trust me, as the writer say, it has no endurance, and I am saying that it has no loyalty whatsoever. Another thing is that um for me sometimes I am fired up, like I'm rearing to go with something, and then the next minute it just, no, I'm at 100, as Jamaicans would say, full 100, willpower up there. You see the next minute something happen, it done, it goes straight to zero. Sometimes it all want go over in the negatives. Trust me, people, it has no loyalty, it has no endurance, and it can just leave you in no second. As quick as it come, it gone. The next thing is that there are several things that can negatively affect your willpower, and these include resisting temptation. So my suggestion is to avoid as best as possible any situation that require you to resist saying or doing something that you really want to say, but you know that you're going to regret it later. So just avoid those situations as best as possible. The writer said it can also be stretched by when you're forming new behaviors, but we know that most people, if not all, are resistant to change. Sometimes even if a small change in the way they live, the way they do things, people usually resist. So forming new behaviors is going to be taxing on your willpower. Trying to impress others, trying to be like somebody else, and trying to compare yourself with other people, just imagine how that can tax your limited resources of willpower. And there are other things that affect your willpower negatively, such as coping with fear, coping with grief, taking tests. There are so many things that can affect your willpower. Another important thing that can negatively affect your willpower is doing something that you don't like doing. Now, imagine, I think I've said this before in another video. If you are doing something and you don't like to do it, now in whoever's name, can you tell me how you're going to muster up the willpower to do this thing constantly, especially if it's a job? You get up every day, you expect to find willpower to do it. It's something that you have to do because it's your work, but you can't force willpower. One thing we can't do, as I said before, we cannot conjure it up, we can't call it forth as we wish. So I realize that my willpower is usually at its highest peak in the early mornings when I just wake up, because at that time I am grateful to be alive, and I am thanking God for the opportunities that I have for that day. You know, thanking for his mercies. New every morning is God's love, as our waking and uprising always prove. And so at that time, and I'm still on the book, The One Thing, the writer suggests that you should find out when your willpower is at its highest peak and use that time to do that one thing that you believe will make all the other things that you have to do easier. So do it while your willpower is at its peak, so that when later on in the day, when it starts to wane, or some persons are night persons, suppose your willpower is up at the night, use that time to do that one most important thing for the day before your willpower starts to run out. So after finding out that even the strongest among us don't always have this very important ingredient for success, I decided to find out how I can make the best of my limited resource. And I invite you to also find out how you can make it work for you. So reading from a summary from the book, The One Thing, here's what you have to do to make yours work for you. First of all, you have to respect it. You have to recognize that it is limited. You can't always call it when you want it. Respect it. Then you're going to consider it. Spend some time to think about the level it is at. Pay attention to when it is at its highest, as I just said. And importantly, don't beat yourself up when it disappears as fast as it comes, because it will. I told you it has no loyalty. Don't spread it too thin. Since you only have a limited supply of it, decide what matters most and reserve your willpower for that one thing every single day. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. It will always win. Just plan your day around it and allow your limited yet important source of willpower to guide you to success. Oh, those two questions I had asked at the start. If there's no will, if there's no way I can be successful, or when there is willpower, does it always lead to success? Well, I still don't know the answer to the questions, but I will get back to you and tell you as soon as I find out. All right?